Hello there and welcome back to some more Gran Turismo 4. Today we're continuing with a Let's Play. This is episode 2. In today's episode, I'm taking a look at another license test this time. We head to the National A license, which is more complicated than the National B license. There's 16 tests as there are in every single license test. Let's go ahead and get into it with Complex Corners Beginner 1. We are going to be using the Mitsubishi FTO for this one, which is a pretty cool car, pretty good handling car as well, from what I remember. And we go to the returning high-speed ring. Fantastic. Unfortunately, what's not so fantastic, the fact that we've got traction control on the car, which isn't particularly great, but, you know, swings and roundabouts, I guess. Anyways, as we sort of try to break into there, traction control light is going mental. There we go. Oh, God. Excellent, trying to pull it through there. Onto the back straight then. This should be a pretty quick time. No, well, quick-ish. I don't know. I can do that a lot better though. Sort of messed up the first few corners of high-speed ring, but it is nice to see high-speed ring back. I'm sure you'll agree with me. High-speed ring, rather popular when it comes to the Gran Turismo franchise, as quite rightly it should be, to be perfectly honest with you, because it is a very good track. Alright, moving onwards to Complex Corners Beginner 2. This time we get to drive a different car. We get to drive the Lotus Elise soft top without traction control. Okay, fairly straightforward again. This one should be a little bit harder because the Elise, not as good a car as the FTO in my opinion. I know Lotuses are supposed to be very good handling, and technically they are because they turn in very well, very reactive cars. Unfortunately, they don't exactly drive the way I like cars to drive, i.e. they're not particularly comfortable cars to drive. You sort of always have to be a little bit on edge. We just miss out on the gold time. I would prefer the gold time, but there you go. Sometimes you have to deal with swings and roundabouts. Lovely stuff. Right, moving onwards. Where are we going to be going next for our next license test? I believe we got done with all of the accelerating braking. It's not like Gran Turismo 3 where I believe it's split up into two different license tests. Ah, this test. I think I remember this one for being a little bit arsey, because I can't quite take the usual lines I'd love to take on Deep Forest, i.e. taking this corner flat out, which I don't think you can quite do in this car. Nope, the understeer is going to carry us way wide on that one. That one should be pretty easy to redo. I know what my mistake was on that. Oh, he's driving an Eclipse. Like I explained the understeer. Unfortunately, it's the second gen Mitsubishi Eclipse, which was never quite as good as the first gen Eclipse. Of course, weighed a lot more because, well, it's a convertible, unfortunately. Anyways, as we move on to where we're going to go next, we get a Subaru Legacy at the Suzuka circuit, another new circuit to this game. Do rather like this model of Subaru Legacy. I might get one of these as my next car, actually, to be honest with you, IRL. I'm currently deciding between a couple of sort of luxury saloon cars. The Legacy's in consideration, it's just trying to find a good one around here is a little bit arsey. Of course, can't take my usual line at the Suzuka, which is basically to cut that entire corner out, but there you go. Nevertheless, gonna stay a pretty good time. Also, I just noticed that it says Konami at the top there. Oh, fucking army. Anyways, as that one is over and done with, where are we going next? I'd really like these sort of first license tests because you can sort of just skim through them nicely. I think the first episode's only about half an hour. This one should be a lot shorter because, well, I cut out all of the intro. Okay, next up we get a one-lap guided run of Grand Valley Speedway in the Audi A3 3.2 Quattro. Did fail on my first attempt because this car is rather heavy, as it turns out. Anyways, yes, of course, 3.2 Quattro, the cousin of the Golf R32. Ironically enough, despite Audi being the premium version of Volkswagen, the Volkswagen actually costs more these days. The R32 Golfs are actually rather expensive. I believe they go for pretty much what they went retail, which is pretty good as far as depreciation goes. I don't think these are cheap. I honestly can't say I've ever looked up the used car prices of Audi A3s, especially 3.2 Quattros. It wouldn't surprise me if these are around the same price as the S3 of the previous generation. I have looked those up before. They're about £5 grand, so somewhere in that ballpark, I'd imagine. not really been a huge fan of this particular generation of the Audi A3. This one's got sort of when Audi started giving its cars every single car got basically the same face. I'd prefer the previous generation. I believe the previous generation of Audi A3 was lighter than this one as well. Also, I think this one would have been based on the Mark IV Golf platform, which I've discussed at nauseum how much I despise the Mark IV Volkswagen Golf. This might be a tough one to improve my time on, just because I really don't like the way this car drives. It's very boaty, a very heavy car. That being said, this might actually be a quickish time if I can sort of follow in the slip stream of the pace car. Okay, never mind. Maybe I won't have to improve that much on this one when I come back to do it later on. Yeah, pretty solid, easy time there. One certainly not too bad. I think it probably takes into account the very understeering nature of the Audi. Anyways, where are we going next? Complex Corners Intermediate 1. We are back at Twin Ring Motegi. We've got another roadster, this time the SLK 230 Compressor. Interestingly enough, I haven't experienced this with every car in the game. I believe the supercharged by standard cars don't actually have boost gauges, which is a little bit weird considering they're kind of supercharged. They kind of do have boost gauges. A supercharger does deliver boost, but apparently, for whatever reason, these cars don't have it. I believe if you upgrade the cars with superchargers as well, they do gain boost meters, so yeah, unfortunately supercharged cars a little bit nerfy in this game. You can't really do too much to them. Either way, we're going to get silver on that one. A pretty straightforward test. Pretty nice car to drive, actually, the SLK. A little bit damp, but certainly not a bad car to drive by any stretch of the imagination. Where are we going to next? We are going to Complex Corners Intermediate 2. We are at the Nurburgring, first of many licenses at the Nurburgring. And we've got the Golf GTI, the Mark V, the better Golf. Yeah, this is going to be a tricky test to gain some time on. I'm not too familiar as to where we are on the Nurburgring. We are somewhere. Oh, we're sort of in the RC section that I don't really know. The first few corners of the Nurburgring I know really well, and like the last two corners I know well. Everything in between is just a complete mystery to me. So, that's sort of my issue with the Nurburgring. You could say I don't have enough time on it, but quite frankly, I've been driving the Nurburgring now for... When did this game come out? Did I say 2005? I've been driving that corner, or driving that track for almost 15 years. I think if I was going to learn it, I would have learned it by now. Anyways, we are in the rotary buzz box, the RX-8. No, unfortunately not in fail race approved colours, but there you go. And once again at El Capitan. These corners are a bit of a nightmare, actually. They're sort of deceptive in sort of how you are supposed to take them. I've often hit the sort of bridge wall there, which is a little bit of an arse. I'll probably get used to it, though. That's sort of one of the strange things coming back to this game. I played this game a lot. Like, this is probably in my top... Ooh. Okay, I need to actually focus on this one. We are doing a... Oh god, it's a 206cc. Ugh. Anyways, we're doing a cone challenge. Yeah, do have to focus slightly on this one. But yeah, the interesting thing is, I played this game a lot, but there's still stuff I need to learn. I think I actually missed a cone there. But yeah, it's surprising how much you forget about this game, because it handles so differently compared to the other Gran Turismo game. Yeah, I'm going to have to really redo this one. I believe you have to do this again in a TVR later on. I missed two cones, and I know where those cones are. They're somewhere up there. Probably should have used the third-person camera mode for this one, but never mind. Anyways... A pretty uninspiring bronze time there. I know where I went wrong in that one. It's just... Okay, here's one of the biggest issues I have with this game. Trying to moderate your speed is extremely difficult because I'm using just the standard PlayStation 2 controller. And if you know anything about the standard PS2 controller, it's that technically, I believe, the buttons on this controller are actually pressure sensitive. You can sort of see, I'm Actually, no, never mind. That was the AI driving. Yeah, the buttons are pressure sensitive. The problem is there's really not enough travel on them to really, for you to make fine adjustments. So, yeah, sort of when it comes to a challenge like that, I'm basically on throttle, off throttle, on throttle, off throttle. So, it's a little bit nightmarish. That test would be a lot easier if we didn't have the burden of traction control. Super Type R. Very cool car, actually. That's probably my least favourite gen of the Type R, if I'm being honest. Still a cool car, though, nevertheless. Often driven by dickheads these days, though, so that's a bit unfortunate. But never mind. Anyways, we're getting a one-lap guided run around Suzuka. Attempt number 4. This test is terrible. And the worst bit about this test is I always mess it up at the final bit. So, what you're doing is one-lap guided run of the Suzuka course in an Integra DC5, which is a good car, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure driving one of these around this track in real life would be a blast. The problem is, this car's got traction control on it, which I can't turn off, and the traction control carries the car wide at every single point, and apparently the pace car does not know how to deal with the last corner. I have smacked into that pace car twice now, and the other 2 times have been basically traction control taking the car off the track. So yeah, this test not fun, not fun. But nevertheless, we will get through it. It's the British way. Oh god. Surprisingly, traction control not cutting all of my speed off through there, although it is going to shave all of my speed off through here, which is lovely. I just love having no speed through the corners. It truly is my favourite thing in the entire world. Right. Oh god, please don't do that. Yeah, I really mucked that one up. So used to taking that corner a lot better, although then again I took that corner pretty darn well, save for the downshift halfway through the corner. Probably not a good thing to do. Yeah, it super feels really long in this car as well, which doesn't help with my perspective that this test is bollocks. Anyways, as we try to come out this corner, can I please have some speed? Thank you very much. Traction control system. Which apparently says that the car wheel spins in 2nd gear all the time, which I would imagine isn't exactly true, considering it's an Integra. Integras are known for being a couple of things. One of them is a really good handling front-wheel drive car, which probably wouldn't be spinning its wheels the entirety down this course. But what do I know? Maybe this has got a 400 horsepower LS motor in it or something. I don't know. It revs higher than any LS motors though, so probably not. Right, let's try not to muck this up. I've got 140R and the final corners to go, and neither of them are particularly kind to me, so we're going to follow the pace cars braking through this corner. Oh god, please, no. I completely cocked that up. On the plus side though, I will have no speed coming down here. So the pace car brakes before Kanami Bridge. My brain is telling me to brake at Kanami Bridge, and you can sort of see there, he almost comes to a dead stop through this corner, which isn't exactly the way you're supposed to take it, but there you go. Got many wheels on the sand there, and as you can tell, yeah, this one is gonna be trickier. Where's the finish line? 250.544. Enough to get us a silver on my first complete try, but god, that's irritating. That's very irritating indeed. Anyways, let's go on to the next track. Hopefully the next one-lap guided run won't be as terrible as that one. I can't remember if the S license is you get the pace car or not. I'm hoping you don't, because he's really irritating. Oh boy, back to the dirt in a Lancia Delta HF Integrale, which is wunderbar. Right. Ooh, that's not so wunderbar. Drifting it throughout there. There we go. Rush the finish line, and yeah, I could be so much quicker through there. I'm not very good at rallying. You'll probably be able to tell this during this Let's Play. I am terrible when it comes to actually rallying. You probably saw it in Gran Turismo 3 as well if you watched my Let's Play of that. Me no bueno when it comes to rally coursing, usually, but it's one thing I hope to be better at. Oh boy, I'm playing dirt driving and we got a good car for it. We got a Subaru. Okay, we may get a Subaru, but this is still Tahiti Maze, which means not good things. Also, Tahiti Maze in this game has got a lot greener, which means it's nicer to look at. Still the same terrible place to drive at. Oh, don't spin it around too much. I literally brushed that wall last time and apparently failed. So, ooh, God, I'm going to tap the arse end of the car on this. No, I'm not. So, the interesting way the sort of penalty system works in the license test, usually you can smack the arse end of the car into an object. It's when you smack sort of the front cone, almost, it's kind of like what you see from the camera I'm using. That sort of part of the car, you cannot touch that on any object, but usually the rear end you can tap it on something. You can pretty vigorously tap it on some things actually, and you'll be absolutely fine, so a little bit strange. Anyways, tackling blind corners. I believe this is a test from Gran Turismo, well, 1 and 2, I think, reimagined. It's got the same car as you did in those games as well, the R32 Skyline. Probably my favourite of the R32s from or favourite of the Skylines from a historical aspect. I still kind of prefer the R31. I used to say R33, but I think it might actually be the R32 at this point. It's my more preferred. And of course, because this is a Skyline, it has a lovely four-wheel drive traction, which means that traction control is not getting angry with me, which is nice. Basically means this test is actually nice, which is different from it in the first couple of games this test was in, because this test was a nightmare. In fact, it might actually be a nightmare this time around as well, because I'm sort of looking at the time and I don't know where the finish line is. Okay, yeah, that one's a bit of a tricky one by the looks of it, but yeah, never mind. We'll persist on that one. Anyways, next license test. Let's go. Where are we going for this one? That is the question on everyone's minds. Tackling blind corners 2. We're at the Nurburgring with the Audi TT. Hopefully this car drives better than it did in Gran Turismo 3, because it had no traction in Gran Turismo 3. It drove like a front-wheel drive car. I think that's what Torrent said. And I completely agree with him. Torrent is 100% correct about the TT, and I'm seeing the way that traction control light is lighting up, and I'm inclined to believe this car still sucks in this game. As are, of course, they were front-wheel drive TTs. God damn, stop, can't. There we go. And through here, and I see the finish line. Come on, mighty turbo. I have no idea, can't remember what engine's in these. I think it's just a 4-cylinder. Either way, we get a bronze. That's got to be a wanker too. These last couple of tests have been a bit of a wanker. I could sort of see myself really struggling to get gold on these ones. But I will persist, I will survive. So they say. One lap guided run of Triumph Mountain, and we are using, please have a good car, a Mazda 6. Okay. I really do quite like the Mazda 6. So, this is good. We're going to have a lot of issues getting off the line. Traction control. By the looks of it though, at least it's not showing any wheel spin through the second gear, which is nice. This one seems to have a pretty relaxed time limit. I didn't realise the Mazda 6 would have been quite this slow, but there you go. Because I think I was getting like 130s around here in a stock Subaru in GT3. Then again, that didn't have traction control. I've got to make jokes about the traction control the entire time through these license tests, because it's bloody awful. Anyways. Oh, no. Please, no. There we go. Alright, come on. Hey, 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 Mr. Pace Car. Hey, Mr. Pace Car. Do, 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 do. Mr. Pace Car. I'm sorry. Anyways, oh. Please don't hit the tunnel. Okay, we're going to have enough traction to get through there, which is nice. This is actually surprisingly a pretty decent handling car. I mean, I know the Mazda 6 is supposed to be a pretty good handling car IRL. This, ironically, like that Subaru Legacy, this is actually sort of like window shopping, because I kind of, sort of want a Mazda 6. I don't know, I think these things have a couple of rust issues, which sort of put me off them a little bit. Also, just trying to find a good one these days because most of them got eaten up by sizable families. Which isn't so good. There we go. Apparently the time limit's... Oh yeah, right. I can't also do my Gran Turismo 3... Oh god. That car weight distribution sort of turned a bit haywire down there. Yeah. Can't really do what I did in Gran Turismo 3 either and just cut the entirety of this corner, so I'm going to have to take it somewhat sensibly. Which is weird for me at Trial Mountain, because usually I like to ramp off of this bit here. Which I can't do in this game. And there we go. Alright, that one shouldn't be too difficult to redo, as long as I don't have a herky-jerky moment down the hill. Should be good. Should be good. Alright, onwards. I can't remember what test we're on now. Oh, this should be the final test, actually. Which is a point. Anyways, the graduation test. Oh, it's this one. Oh, boy. Okay, so I remember this one being a complete and utter wanker last time I played this game. I believe I was going for silvers on this test, and yeah, this one is extremely difficult because it requires you to know where you're going on the Nurburgring, which I don't. Admittedly, we do get a pretty good car for this, the RX-7 FD. This is a Spirit R, I think, but yeah, I mean, you can have the best car in the world, but either way, you're still driving around the Nurburgring, and as you can probably tell by the minimap, this is the part of the Nurburgring where I genuinely do not know where I'm going. Which is good, although we're coming up to one of my favourite... Nope, that's not it. I'm quite lucky to have not failed the licence there. One of these corners I actually kind of like, although I can't remember which one it is. Because, again, Nurburgring. I think it's this section coming down here. I actually quite like this section, because it sort of keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering whether you can get around there or not. We are going to get a silver... Oh, sorry, we're going to get a bronze on that one. That one's going to be an awkward twat to gold. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do it, and then I will meet you for the rewards. My goodness gracious me, that was a ball ache, but it is over with, it is done with, and we get to collect our stuff. So I believe, yep, here we go. We're going to get our certificate for passing the National A licenses. A license races are now open. God, that was difficult. Anyways, prize cars for getting all bronzes in the National B. You're given the Pontiac Sunfire GXP concept car, which is front-wheel drive and not particularly good from what I remember, but nevertheless, it's a car you unlock. Don't mind the fact that I missed the license test because I'm a moron, because for getting all silvers, you get the Honda Dual Note, which is actually a pretty darn good car, one of the best license prizes you actually get. Four-wheel drive, about 400 horsepower. This is a rather useful vehicle despite looking a bit dowdy. And for getting all golds in the National A, you get the Nissan Gran Turismo Skyline GTR, another great car. That one has about 500 horsepower, I believe, so really competitive in some of the races. Anyways, we're going to get Fuji Speedway, Special Stage Route 5, Suzuka Circuit, and there we go. That's all for free play mode, in case you are wondering. Anyways, day 77 did take a while. There you go, there's Pontiac with 183 horsepower, the Dual Note 395, and the Gran Turismo Skyline. Yeah, really good cars actually. It's really worth going for it on that one license test. Anyways, as you can see, 32 gold and 0% game completion. Again. So, yeah, that's that. Thank you all very much for watching. Next time, I'm going to be taking a look at the other license. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say it's International C, but that's Gran Turismo. I think it's International B. Join me for that. Until then, farewell. Also, just before I go, I'm going to point this out. Next episode might look slightly different. I'm sort of playing around with the capture setting so far when it comes to this game, trying to get it to look as good as possible. So there will probably be... It'll look a little bit different than the next episode. Let me know if you like it or not. But anyways, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, farewell.